The story begins with a young girl named Red Riding Hood, who lived in a small village on the edge of a dense forest. From a young age, Red was known for her bravery and strong will. She was not afraid to speak her mind and stand up for what she believed in. She was a determined young girl who was not afraid to face challenges head-on. Growing up in a village where women were expected to be submissive and dependent, Red refused to conform to these societal norms. She was determined to be her person and to make a difference in the world. She was always eager to explore the forest, and would often go on adventures, always returning home with stories of her encounters with the wild creatures. Red's strong will and determination had earned her the respect of her village, and she had grown into a confident and capable young woman. She was not afraid to speak out against injustice and to stand up for what she believed in. And she had a heart of gold, always looking to help others. She was known for her kindness and her willingness to lend a helping hand to those in need. As the story begins, Red receives the news that her grandmother is ill and needs her help. This was an opportunity for her to put her bravery and strong will to the test, and she sets out on a journey to bring her grandmother some medicine. As she ventures into the forest, she begins to realize that her journey may be more challenging than she had initially thought. One day, Red Riding Hood receives news that her grandmother, who lived deep in the forest, was ill and in need of medicine. Without hesitation, Red sets out on a journey to bring her grandmother the medicine she needs. Red knew that the journey would not be easy. The forest was known to be dangerous, with many wild creatures roaming about. But she was determined to reach her grandmother, and nothing would stop her. She packed a bag with some food and supplies and set out on her journey. As she walked through the forest, Red encountered various obstacles and challenges. She had to navigate through dense underbrush, cross rivers, and climb steep hills. But her determination and strong will helped her to overcome these obstacles. As she drew closer to her grandmother's home, Red could sense that something was amiss. She could hear strange noises, and the birds had stopped singing. She knew that she had to be careful, and she didn't let her guard down for a moment. Finally, Red reached her grandmother's house, but she was shocked to find the door wide open and the house in disarray. She knew that something was wrong, and she knew that she needed to act quickly. She immediately knew that her journey was far from over. As Red Riding Hood continues on her journey to her grandmother's house, she encounters a wolf. The wolf was cunning and sly, and he immediately knew that Red was vulnerable on her journey. The wolf, in an attempt to attack Red, starts to follow her, trying to find an opportunity to pounce on her. Red, being aware of the danger, knew that she had to outsmart the wolf if she wanted to continue on her journey. She used her wit and intelligence to outmaneuver the wolf. She used her knowledge of the forest to her advantage, and she was able to stay one step ahead of the wolf at all times. She used her wit to mislead the wolf by leaving a trail of breadcrumbs leading away from her path, so he would follow the breadcrumbs instead of her. She also used her knowledge of the forest to find shelter and hide from the wolf when necessary. Red's determination and strong will helped her to overcome the challenges that the wolf presented. She never gave up and never let the wolf defeat her. She continued on her journey, always one step ahead of the wolf, and finally, she reached her grandmother's house safely. The wolf, being outsmarted by Red, eventually gave up his pursuit, knowing that he could never defeat such a determined and intelligent young woman as Red Riding Hood. She had proven that she was not just a brave and strong girl but also a clever one too, who was not afraid to use her intelligence to outsmart her enemies. When Red Riding Hood finally reaches her grandmother's house, she is horrified to find that the wolf has beaten her there and has taken her grandmother prisoner. She finds the door wide open and the house in disarray, with signs of a struggle all around. Red's heart sinks as she realizes the gravity of the situation. She knows that her grandmother is in danger and that she needs to act quickly to save her. She immediately starts searching the house for clues, looking for any indication of where the wolf might have taken her grandmother. As she searches, she finds a note left by the wolf, taunting her, and a trail of footprints leading away from the house. Red knows that she has to follow the trail if she wants to save her grandmother. She quickly gathers supplies and sets out to follow the trail, determined to rescue her grandmother. Her mind races as she thinks of all the possible scenarios, and she knows that she has to be prepared for anything. Red's determination and strong will helped her to overcome the challenges that the wolf presented. She never gave up and never let the wolf defeat her. She continued on her journey, always one step ahead of the wolf, and finally, she reached her grandmother's house safely. The wolf, being outsmarted by Red, eventually gave up his pursuit, knowing that he could never defeat such a determined and intelligent young woman as Red Riding Hood. She had proven that she was not just a brave and strong girl but also a clever one too, who was not afraid to use her intelligence to outsmart her enemies. Determined to save her grandmother, Red Riding Hood carefully studies the trail of footprints left by the wolf and begins to devise a plan to outsmart him once again. She knows that the wolf is cunning and dangerous, and she knows that she needs to be careful if she wants to succeed. Red's first step is to gather information. She starts to observe the surroundings, looking for any signs of the wolf's presence, or any indication of where he might have taken her grandmother. She also starts to talk to the other animals in the forest, asking for their help, and any information they might have about the wolf. Using her knowledge of the forest and her intelligence, Red begins to lay a trap for the wolf. She starts to set up different obstacles and barriers, using her wit and resourcefulness to slow the wolf down and make it harder for him to reach her grandmother. Red also uses her knowledge of the wolf's behavior and habits to her advantage. She knows that the wolf is a creature of habit and that he will always take the easiest path. She starts to lead the wolf on a wild goose chase, making him think that he's getting closer to her grandmother while leading him further away. As the wolf gets closer to Red's grandmother, Red is ready to spring her trap. She had gathered enough information and resources to outsmart the wolf and rescue her grandmother. She plans to use her wit and resourcefulness to outsmart the wolf and rescue her grandmother. With her plan in place, Red sets out to put it into action, determined to save her grandmother and defeat the wolf once and for all. Red Riding Hood's plan to outsmart the wolf and rescue her grandmother proves to be a success. She manages to trick the wolf and lead him away from her grandmother's location using her wit and resourcefulness. When the wolf finally realizes that he has been outsmarted and reaches the location where he thought Red's grandmother would be, he finds nothing but an empty cave. Meanwhile, Red, who had successfully rescued her grandmother, is on their way back to the safety of their house. Upon their return, Red's grandmother is overjoyed to see her safe and sound. The two of them embrace each other tightly, relieved to be reunited. Red explains to her grandmother what had happened, and how she had managed to outsmart the wolf and rescue her. Red's grandmother is filled with pride and admiration for her granddaughter, who had proven herself to be a strong, capable, and intelligent young woman. She had not only saved her grandmother but also proved that she was not the typical damsel in distress. Red's determination and strong will helped her to overcome the challenges that the wolf presented. She never gave up and never let the wolf defeat her. She used her wit and resourcefulness to outsmart the wolf and rescue her grandmother, proving that she is a strong and capable young woman. Red and her grandmother return to their home, where they are welcomed back with open arms by the other inhabitants of the forest. They live happily ever after, safe in the knowledge that they will always be able to rely on each other to overcome any challenges that might come their way. After her successful rescue, Red Riding Hood becomes a hero in her village. The villagers who had heard about the rescue admire her for her bravery and resourcefulness. They are in awe of the young woman who had saved her grandmother from the big bad wolf and had proven herself to be a strong, capable, and intelligent young woman. Red's fame spreads far and wide, and soon, people from neighboring villages start to hear about her exploits. They come to visit her, seeking her advice and wisdom, and they are all impressed by her courage and her determination to protect her loved ones. Red, who had always been known as a brave and strong girl, now becomes known as a hero. She is celebrated for her bravery and her resourcefulness, and her name becomes synonymous with courage and determination. The villagers also start to recognize the importance of being prepared and resourceful in the face of danger, and they start to take precautions to protect themselves from the big bad wolf and other dangers in the forest. Red's bravery and resourcefulness also inspire many young girls in her village, who look up to her as a role model. They start to see that they too can be strong, capable, and intelligent young women, who can overcome any challenges that come their way. Red's heroism and her success in rescuing her grandmother not only brought her recognition and fame but also served as an inspiration to others, proving that with determination and resourcefulness, anyone can become a hero. After her successful rescue, Red Riding Hood continues to use her strength and intelligence to help her community, becoming a leader and role model for young girls. She is determined to make a difference and to help others to be prepared and resourceful, just as she had been when she rescued her grandmother. Red starts to share her knowledge and experience with the other villagers, teaching them how to protect themselves from the big bad wolf and other dangers in the forest. She also starts to educate them on the importance of being prepared and resourceful, and how to use their intelligence to outsmart their enemies. With her wisdom and guidance, the village starts to become a safer and more prosperous place. The villagers start to take precautions to protect themselves and their loved ones, and they start to see the importance of being prepared and resourceful in the face of danger. Red also starts to take an active role in the village. She becomes a leader and a role model for young girls. She starts to inspire them to be strong, capable, and intelligent young women who can overcome any challenges that come their way. Red's example and leadership not only made the village a safer place but also helped to empower young girls. She becomes a symbol of strength and intelligence, and a shining example of what young women can achieve when they put their minds to it. Red's continued efforts to help her community not only made her a hero, but also a leader who was respected and admired by all. She had shown that with determination and resourcefulness, anyone can make a difference and inspire others to do the same. Red Riding Hood becomes an advocate for women's empowerment, encouraging other girls and women to be confident in their abilities and to pursue their dreams. She understands that many girls and women are not encouraged to believe in their abilities and to aim for something greater. So, she takes it upon herself to change this perception. Red starts to organize workshops and seminars in the village, where she shares her story and encourages other girls and women to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams. She emphasizes the importance of being confident in one's abilities and encourages them to be resourceful and never give up on their dreams. She also starts to visit other villages and towns to share her message of empowerment and to inspire other girls and women to believe in themselves. Her speeches and workshops are well received, and she starts to gain a reputation as a powerful and inspiring speaker. As her message of empowerment spreads, more and more girls and women start to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams. They start to see that they too can be strong, capable, and intelligent young women who can achieve anything they set their minds to. Red's advocacy for women's empowerment not only helps to change the perception of women in her village, but also in the surrounding areas. Her message of empowerment and her example inspire many girls and women to believe in themselves and to pursue their dreams, regardless of the obstacles that might come their way. Red Riding Hood becomes a symbol of strength and determination, not only for young girls but also for women of all ages. Her advocacy for women's empowerment not only made her a hero and a leader but also an inspiration to others, encouraging them to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams. The story ends with Red Riding Hood living a happy and fulfilling life, proud of the strong, independent woman she has become, and her community is proud of her too. She continues to be an advocate for women's empowerment, and her message continues to inspire young girls and women to believe in themselves and to pursue their dreams. Red's community sees her as an inspiration and a role model, and they are proud of the strong, independent woman she has become. Her advocacy for women's empowerment and her leadership has helped to make the village a safer and more prosperous place, where girls and women are encouraged to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams. Red's message of empowerment and her example has also helped to change the perception of women in the surrounding areas, and more girls and women start to believe in themselves and pursue their dreams. Red's strong will, determination, and resourcefulness have helped her to overcome any obstacles that came her way, and she continues to inspire others to do the same. She is proud of the woman she has become, and she is happy to have made a difference in her community. The story ends with Red Riding Hood, who had once been a simple young girl, now a strong, independent woman, who had not only saved her grandmother but also helped to make her community a better place for everyone. She continues to live a happy and fulfilling life, surrounded by the love and admiration of her community.